Graphing linear equations, this is a review of Part 8. In today's lesson, students will review how to graph a system of equations that intersect at one point. Where do they intersect? Very good. So we will be graphing a system of equations that are going to intersect. They're going to do what? Intersect. The intersection is the point at which two lines cross. That's also known as the solution. It's known as the what? The solution. So we're going to graph both of these lines, and we're going to identify at what point do the lines cross, and we will write that solution, right? X comma y, whatever point that is. For all of these examples, I have not included parallel lines. However, let's still take a look at the slopes of both of these lines. Line number 1 is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4, and line number 2 is y equals 3x minus 3. What do you notice about the slopes? One is negative and one is positive, okay? So let's graph these lines and see where they intersect. First, what's the slope of the first line? It's negative 1 over 2. And the slope of the second line is 3 over, what do I put under it? A 1, right? That's the run. To graph the lines, we have to identify the y-intercept. So in the first line, the y-intercept is positive 4. What about the second line? What's the y-intercept? It's negative 3. Great. So let's graph these lines. We're going to start at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from there, we're going to go where? We're going to go down 1 and over to the right 2. So we're going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2 to the right, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. If we wanted to go the other direction, we could go up 1 and over 2, and up 1 over 2. We could keep going on and on and on. Because every point is going to be on this line. So let's make this line. And what we're trying to do is figure out which one of these points is going to intersect when the line crosses through. So we have to graph the second line. The y-intercept for the second line is what? You're going to start at negative 3. And then you're going to be going up 3 and over 1. So we're going to go up 3 and over 1 until we cross the second line. So up 1, 2, 3 over 1. And one more time is 1, 2, 3 over 1. There's the point of intersection. Let's do it one more time. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. If you went in the negative direction, you could go down 1, 2, 3 and over to the left 1. We're going to make our line. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at this point. What is this point of intersection? I'm going to circle it. What is this point? It is what? 2 up how many? 3. So the solution for this system of equations is 2, 3, because that is the coordinate point where these lines intersect. Are these lines perpendicular to one another? Are they? No, they're not, because if they were, then this would be positive what? This would be positive 2 over 1. It would be the negative reciprocal. So, get this down. Now let's graph this system of equations to see what the solution would be, which means what is the point of intersection? Where do these two lines cross? So to do that, we have to identify the slopes and the y-intercept to graph the lines. So let's take a look at the slopes. We have negative 2 over 3 and 2 over 3. Are they the same? No, they're different. One is negative and one is positive. Again, these are not going to be perpendicular to one another because in order for that to happen, this would have to be 3 over 2. okay? So not perpendicular, which means they're not going to intersect at 90 degrees. One is positive and one is negative. So they're probably going to cross, okay? So what is the slope of the top one? We said it was negative 2/3, and this one is positive 2/3. What are the y-intercepts? Here, b is -3, and here, b is 1. So let's graph the first line. The first line starts at -3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my y-intercept there. From that point, I'm going to go down 2 and over 3. 1, 2, 3. This has a negative slope. It's going down, right? Down 2/3. I could also go up 2 and over to the left 3. Up 2/3. Up 2/3. Okay, so we have our first line, which has a negative slope of 2/3. Now let's graph the second line to see at what point are these lines going to intersect. So for the second line, we're going to start at +1. Start where? +1. Then we're going to go up 2/3. And why don't we also now go in the other direction, which is down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. There is the point of intersection right there, right? So let's make our line. Okay, so the point of intersection is right here. Let's identify this coordinate point. So we are at, that's -1, -2, -3, down 1. So it would be -3, -1. So we write that our solution is -3, -1. Go ahead and get that down. So now let's graph the system for number 3. We have two linear equations that are going to intersect. The first linear equation says y = x - 2. The second equation says y = -1/3 x + 2. So, is there a slope for the first line? Do you see it? It is invisible. What is it? It's 1, because there's 1x, right? So put a 1 in front of x. Written as a slope, it's going to be 1/1. Okay? And then you have the other slope, which is -1/3. What do you notice about these slopes? We have a positive slope and a negative slope, and they're going to cross these lines. But first, we need to figure out what are their y-intercepts. So the y-intercept of the first line is -2. What about the second line? +2. So you're going to notice these lines have different slopes and different y-intercepts. Let's graph the first line, starting at -2. Plotting your point at -2 on the y-intercept, and then going up 1/1, up 1/1, up 1/1, and again you can also go down 1 in the negative direction 1, because this is a positive slope, and negative divided by negative is positive. So grab a ruler and make your line here. Okay, there we go. Now let's graph the second line. The second line, we're going to start at positive what? +2. And then we are going down 1 and over 1, 2, 3. There it is. We just found it, right? Because that is the point of intersection. Let's go the other direction. Let's go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3. There we go. So, with your ruler, make a line. And the point of intersection, I'm going to go ahead and circle it. It is at, let's see, 3 up 1. So it's going to be 3, 1. That's that coordinate point at which the lines intersect. So over here, you're going to write that the solution is 3, 1. Now let's graph the solution for our final example, example 4. We have 2 linear equations. Together they create a system. There's one solution because these lines are going to cross. The reason I know they're going to cross is because look at their slopes. You have a positive 5 here and you have a negative 3. The slopes are different and they also have different y-intercepts. So at some point, these lines are going to cross. We need to find that point. Are you ready? Okay. So what is the slope of the first line? We know it's positive 5, but we can't really use just 5. We have to put it as 5 over 1. And then what about the negative 3? Negative 3 over 1, because you have to have a run, not just a rise. And your y-intercepts are different. For the first equation, it's what? What's this one? Positive 4. And the second equation is what? Say it. Negative 4. Let's graph these lines. First equation is a positive 4 on the y-axis, y-intercept 1, 2, 3, 4. And then where will you go? Up 5. Do we have room? I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. And let's go in the opposite direction, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going down 5 and over 1. Let's do it again. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. We'll stop there. So this line is a positive slope. It's also very steep. It almost looks like it's undefined because it is approaching infinity. There we go. And now let's graph the other line, which is a negative slope. So starting where? Where do I start? Y-intercept, right? Negative 4. So I'm going to start at 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4. Then I'm going to go, should I go down 3 and over 1, or do you think I should go the other direction? Because what would happen if I go up 1, 2, 3 and over 1? I will be right at my point, right? Because negative slope can go both ways, as long as one direction is negative, right? Let's go down. 1, 2, 3, and now over 1. We can make our line from there. And the lines cross, it looks like an X. At what point do they cross? We call that their solution. Their solution. What point do the lines cross? We see that it's at this point right here. Yeah? That's the point where they cross. So what is this coordinate point? It's negative 1, what? Negative 1, right? It's a third quadrant. Both of the coordinates are negative. So the solution to the system is negative 1, negative 1. Go ahead and get that down.